It is party time, Mom. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show here from the Mothership Studio 22. Hey, these are the last days that we're in this version of Studio 22. We're going to the bigger, better, new, improved, hard-working man, Studio 22. We're renaming it. It's, what is that over there, Mark? Is that Studio 3 through 33, something
Yeah,
like?
it used to be called 33, and then someone ripped, like, one of the threes out of the
30.
So now they call it 3. I still kind of call it 33, but I don't think anyone really knows.
That's what I thought, too. It's 33
yeah.
over there. And, of course, Glenn Beck used to have his set in there. The News and Why It Matters used to be in there. Now, Graham Allen, Dear America, his Rant Nation and his Dear America podcast are in there. And we're on the other half of the room. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see juggling back and forth. You know, Graham's in there, we're in there. But we went over there and just took a quick little peek, and it's just coming together incredibly. It's really cool. Can't wait to see it. And again, the way you see something, people will come in this Studio 22 and they'll say, man, I had no idea that this is the way this room looks.
Yeah,
because the behind the scenes is never like what you see on the camera.
Yeah.
You know, they can't see all the cables and the cords and the lights and the whole thing that's going on.
Yeah,
see the sexy.
It's really just a lot uglier when you see it in person. Hate to break people's hearts.
What, Steve?
Another thing is people don't realize that the guests can't look at me. They can't see me. They have to turn completely around in their seat to see me.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally behind them.
Yeah, we are fixing that. People have probably picked up on that, though, because they've seen guests look over their shoulder. But, yeah, it's so that one at least, because you'll be in front of everybody now.
Yeah.
Over in the bar. We got a surprise name coming for the bar. We'll figure out what that's going to be, and we'll reveal it once we're in there. And you're going to be comfortable on that chair, stool?
I think I'm going to be more comfortable, I think, because that's my natural habitat.
Just leaning on a bar?
Leaning on a bar.
That's awesome.
We get a couple of girls in there to hang out with me, and it'll be like being at home. Well, not home, but, you know.
I'm excited to get over there. We'll be over there here pretty soon, and we've got some big things we're going to do over there. We're going to do some panel discussions in there. We'll have more. We'll be able to do more Skype interviews in a new format because it's going to be just bigger and better and more versatile over there. The technology in that building is better. You'll see Mark and Candace far better because they're going to have their own little spot in there. And it's funny because they were saying it looks like a liberal talk show. Like, what the hell does a liberal talk show look like? I mean, it's just two chairs facing each other.
It's just like the David Letterman set.
I know. Well, David Letterman doesn't have a buffalo named Mighty Heaton hanging over the fireplace.
He does not. And
we do. And people keep wanting to know if Silent Deer, Herbert the Silent Deer is coming over. We'll see. We'll see. You know, Herbert has a future. I haven't heard much out of Herbert lately, though. Sitting here with my lovely wife, Jade.
Hello.
Hello. Do you care about the new studio, or are you just kind of like, meh?
No, I'm very much looking forward to it. I went over there with you a while ago. I really like the chairs. I like everything about it. I don't feel like it's some liberal place. I don't know what a liberal place is like, but I really think it's awesome.
I've loved being in this studio. I really have. It's been nice and private. We've had our ups and downs. It's kind of like a part of the family. Like this studio is part of the show.
Yeah.
The new one will be too, because a lot of this stuff's going to be coming over with us. It'll be nice. We're just going to be switching rooms. And I think folks will enjoy it. But that's kind of been the plan from the very beginning, is for us to get over there so we can have a little more of a formatted show. And I know there are people who want to get on social media and say, I just like the other videos you do. I don't like these. They're boring and they rattle on. Shut up.
Well,
I mean, what is wrong with you?
And you still do the other videos.
We sure
They're
do.
still there.
We do. You know what sucks as a man? Losing your hair. Losing your hair. I had to get a little hair treatment. I did. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not discreet about it at all. I'm with you guys. Let me tell you something. If you want to get yourself fixed up in the hair department, let me give you a little education. There are 2 hair treatment products that are approved by the FDA that help you control this chemical in your body. It's a hormone, DHT. The problem is the older you get, your DHT is going to get smaller, and that's what triggers your hair falling out. You guys know what I'm talking about. Now listen, DHT, if you can increase that, it's going to trigger regrowth in a percentage of you guys, you're going to get your hair back. And if you're losing your hair and you still have some hair, guess what? It's going to stop falling out. So here's the thing. Those 2 products that you can get that have the DHT in it, they're extremely expensive, and you had to go to the doctor in order to get them. Well, I'm here to give you some good news because there's a company called Keeps.com that's going to offer generic versions of those 2 approved hair products. So not only are they up to 90% effective, they are 100% totally affordable. See, with Keeps, you can keep your hair without ever leaving your couch. All you got to do, you go online, go to Keeps.com, you answer a few questions, you got to snap a couple of pictures of your head, show them your hair, and a licensed doctor is going to review the info and recommend the right hair loss treatment for you. And then guess what? They're going to ship it right to your door. You don't even have to turn the television off. It's going to come right to your door, and discreetly, by the way, if you're one of those secretive kind of guys. So I got you a deal. Go to Keeps.com, Keeps.com/action. You're going to get a free online doctor consult, and you're going to get your first month of hair treatments free. Keeps.com/action. You hear me? Keep your hair. Keeps.com/action. I just love the audacity that people have to just share everything that hits their brain.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I would never walk in your house and be like, this carpet looks like you know, I would just never do that.
Well, people will be happy to know that the couch that was up on the platform is no longer on the platform. It doesn't mean it won't be on the platform or a platform or half off of a platform in the future where we have to sit sideways. But if we do, we will be safe.
What
I am a nurse. I've got us.
So I told the guys the other day, I told Mark, I told Chance the soulless ginger rapper, I told Tim DiDonato, I told Chuck, and I told all the guys over there working, I said, I want that couch like on strings, like a Katy Perry concert. It just comes down.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know.
That will be my
all
spot
the man
each
show
time
girls
I'm
in
on.
bikinis will be sitting on it, and they'll come off, and there'll be fireworks, and then they'll cheer and stuff, and then they'll go off, and our guest will come on. Be kind of cool.
Is the guest going to come down on the couch?
No.
Oh.
Would be kind of cool, though, if you had bikini-clad cheerleaders.
I mean, that's not what I would want, but I would come down like on
Well, no,
it sideways.
we could put dudes on it. Like, we could put some Adonis god dudes, whatever, like some 300 soldiers.
I mean, that's fine.
We could put some Sparta soldiers on there.
But I don't want sprayed on abs.
No sprayed on abs.
I
You
need
want the
real
real
abs.
deal?
Yeah.
You the real deal?
I thought dad bods were the thing.
They are.
They're not.
Yeah.
They are.
They're not.
Yes, they are. Dad bods are the thing.
If a guy has that big, much abs, they spend so much time in the gym, you don't ever get to see them.
I mean, why do you need 6 to 8 abs when one will do?
That's right.
Really?
Well, are mom bob bodies in?
Don't bother me none.
They don't bother me none.
Oh.
I don't want, seriously, what guy wants some, I mean, again, no offense to those who are into fitness and are into bodybuilding, more power to you. I'm not saying it's unattractive, but I can't say that I want to snuggle up with somebody that could beat my ass. That's just my general thought. Again, is it attractive?
You really
yes.
think I can't beat your ass?
Well, I mean, you've tried, but I mean, you could. I mean, it's all of that is. First of all, I'm a dude, right? I'm a red-blooded American dude. I'm 98.6 right here, and so I like women. Are a beautiful gender. I mean, I love women. I don't understand.
They're also 98.6.
They are. I don't understand. Look, to each their own. If you're a dude, you like other dudes, that's fine. It's just, God bless you. I'll hug you. I'll kiss you right on the mouth if you're a dude. If you're my buddy, I'll kiss Bougie Sean. Allison took a picture of me kissing Steve the other day, right on the cheek. I don't care.
I've seen it in person.
I know it's somewhere.
Oh, it's somewhere. She's got it. She's holding
it.
on to that for blackmail. But we don't care. But I don't care. I don't care.
When I started working out, I remember when you met me, I only weighed 112. I was pretty small. I had just had surgery for Crohn's, and you would make fun of me talking about my little legs, and I would walk like that. But I remember you telling me that once I started putting on weight, once I hit 30, and then I started getting extra weight back here, that you liked it. And so then when I started working out, that was one of the first things to go. So do you still like me?
Like that too. My philosophy is, look, I'm going to love every inch of you. If you add more inches, then that's just more inches to love. And if you lose them, I still love you.
Aww.
Just the same.
Well, you said it in front of the camera.
But
so.
I go back to, and everybody knows that, but I'll go back to the point I was going to make. Everybody's attractive. Like, I mean, everybody's attractive in their own way. If you're attractive, like I tell my daughters, I've told them for years, I've always said, you're pretty, but you didn't have anything to do with that. You didn't have anything to do with that. That is your parents and God that made you look the way you look. Now, you can enhance yourself various ways. You can stay fit. You can do makeup and all this kind of stuff. But again, my point is, I don't believe in like complimenting somebody. We've built this whole culture around how people look. And the reason we've done that, that's why we have these concepts. Like, we can't joke about anything. Like, we can't joke about having a man bod or a dad bod or a mom bod or whatever, or being overweight, because that's fat shaming. No. The problem is we've created this culture whereby people are supposed to fit into this certain image that's an expectation, and that's BS, because, again, you don't have anything to do with that. What you do have something to do with is how smart you are.
Yep.
You have something to do with your personality, how outgoing you can be, how loud you can be versus how quiet you can be. And I'm talking about in a good way. Like, sometimes it's time to speak up, sometimes it's time to shut up. You have control over those kind of things, and those are traits right there that make a person stand out.
Yep. It's always interesting too whenever you first meet somebody and you're like, nah, but then when they start talking, they're very attractive. You know, they really have a lot to offer, and the way you look at them physically becomes different too.
I was eating at the Twin Peaks the other day.
I'm sure.
And my waitress Barbie, I was like, this girl, she's meh. Then she started talking, and I was like, yeah.
But I thought they didn't wear anything there.
Barbie doesn't have to say a word. She's just standing there.
Well, Steve threw you right under the bus.
Now, they wear clothes. There's just not a lot of them. Yeah. Restaurants.
What other restaurants does that include?
Hooters.
And then the other one in Arlington?
I don't know about
that. The barbecue place.
Oh, Bone Daddies.
Yeah, those girls don't wear much either.
They don't wear a lot. And then they've got a tilted kilt in some parts of the country. And then there's some place that we can't ever remember the name of that Chief took us to one day for lunch. And I was like, these girls ain't wearing no clothes.
They were wearing lingerie.
They were wearing lingerie. And I was like, I don't think I can eat here.
I want to call it third base, but I know that's not it. It's some baseball
Something
term.
like that. And there is a third base place. Okay. I think over in Frisco or something. Don't ask me how I know all this.
Third base should be a restaurant if it's not.
Yeah, I think there is a place like that. And then this was like the pitcher's mound or the
that would be
the bullpen or something. Maybe that's
it's
the
probably
bullpen.
Home plate. It would be
home plate.
Yeah, home plate. We're gonna go eat at the home plate, but it would be weird if there was like a restaurant where guys were walking around in Speedos. Would you?
No, they have that.
Oh,
so
okay.
like Allison talks about
know.
A place up in Calgary that she used to go to where the guys ran around in tighty whities. They worked for the restaurant, and the women had super soakers, and they would just try to spray them and the whole deal. And so apparently Allison frequented that joint a lot. But do you?
I used to think one way about her, and now I think different.
You've always known. Listen, do you think that? But stuff like that, we live in a culture where people talk about how sex sells and image sells and things like that. Have we gone too far in that regard?
What do you mean? Like
things you're exposed to, the things your kids are exposed to.
Well, I had those thoughts until we went to Europe, and they have naked stuff everywhere. Yeah. In the airport, grocery store. I mean, it doesn't naked. They're naked. They're completely naked. There is nothing covering those people there. And they seem to be getting by okay. But even I was like, oh. Well, I mean, I come from America, and even I was a little uncomfortable when I got off the airplane.
You can probably say this about America, and I'll throw a term out there, because you can definitely say it about Europe. It's a post-Christian society.
Yes.
There. It's not something that where faith is really determining their culture, and by and large, that's happening in America these days. And so this idea of dressing with decency and self-respect. Now, me personally, and people can laugh at it, whatever. Me personally, someone who is much more self-respecting, much more demure, if you will, in terms of how they dress or present themselves, far more attractive to me. Far more attractive to me than somebody that's got to sling it around out there and objectify themselves in order to be objectified by others.
But I think you're exactly right. So if somebody is insecure, especially a pretty girl, you know, they've probably been told all their life how pretty they are, and they may feel like that's all they've got going for them. So, of course, they're going to show all that. The problem is at some point in their life, maybe 50 or 60 years old, that's going to go away.
Yeah.
It's so important that like you said earlier, that the focus isn't, well, he's so cute or she's so pretty or whatever. That shouldn't be the focus. Yeah. Even Brandon, our 7th grader, he was like, now why is it that, we always have to be sure that the shorts are at a certain length, but the girl, the cheerleaders, their skirts are up much higher than the tips of their fingers. And I'm like, well, why would you have a problem with that? I figured you would like that. And he's like, no, I think it's a little bit weird. They sit down and then their dress comes way up. He's definitely paying attention because he's
wearing bloomers though.
They're wearing bloomers, but remember when you were 12 or 13? Remember when you were 13 years old?
Yeah, bloomers is underwear.
In some ways, I'm still 13.
In all ways. In all ways, you're still 13.
A lot of ways.
You and Brandon could have had that conversation. But isn't it interesting that he didn't care for that? He didn't like that. He thought it was weird.
He doesn't understand the standard. So let's qualify it, because we know our son, he likes it.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun to look at, but he doesn't. He has this real strong sense of justice and right and wrong. Like it bugs him. Like if he's watching a movie and the movie's just not going the way he feels his sense of justice, he gets genuinely pissed off. Like this was problematic when he was younger.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't watch a movie with him. Because if the bad guy or somebody started to sympathize with the bad guy, he was like, hey, because he was able to watch the movie from the perspective that the characters, they don't see the full perspective.
Right.
You see the full picture.
Right.
And he would get just mad. So it's his sense of justice in that regard that he doesn't understand. Like, why are they doing that? Oh, trust me, he enjoys the view.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, bless their hearts. I don't want to go to Epstein in this thing, but yeah, they're he's a boy.
Well, and I know that a couple of them, they know each other even from elementary school, and they are nice girls. So I don't know if he feels uncomfortable now.
Maybe so.
Maybe it just makes him feel uncomfortable because they were friends before.
There's some weird places that let me qualify this first of all. There's some weird things, weird stages that happen in a boy's life. Okay, he's in one of them. All right, that coming into pubescence, coming into puberty. That's all of a sudden your hormones are going crazy. You're still 5'2", but you got a size 12 shoe. It's the things don't make sense. You're awkward. Hormones are happening, and it happens in a girl's life as well at different stages. Girls tend to mature a little bit quicker than, and all of a sudden now you notice Brandon, every time he's out in the yard, he's got to take his shirt off.
Oh, yes.
If he's out playing basketball or whatever, shirt's got to come off.
Well, he did strength and conditioning.
Well, he started working out, so then we had to hear about that every day because he's like, oh, well, I'm getting pretty buff. I'm getting pretty, and I'm like, yeah, okay, concave. But yeah, he's like, and he is. I mean, he's starting to look like a young man. He's got hair on his legs. And,
yes.
And he's a great little athletic kid and got a great physique and all this stuff. But you see that he's going through that. He's starting to get that self-awareness, that testosterone's blooming. And so he's getting that self-awareness of the masculinity that's in there.
Yeah.
Another big phase that guys go through is when they hit about 19 to 20 to 21, and you start going from being a boy into true manhood.
Yeah.
Because that's a change that happens right in there, typically in that range. Because now you're fighting with the masculinity and the responsibilities of now being a man is fighting with the restlessness of the boy, because you got to lay one down and pick another mantle up.
Right.
And that's difficult. Happens again, typically when they get into their early 30s, happens again around their early 40s. Men just go through these phases. The problem we have, back to Steve's point, is we have not taught our young men how to come out of adolescence. And they still have that crazy, uncontrolled 13-year-old running wild inside of them, and they don't know how to fix that, handle it, control it, and position it in the proper way, right? You should be able to take that type of restlessness and put it into your career, into providing, into hunting, into gathering, these kind of things, which, again, I'm getting into stereotypes of what masculinity is, but by and large, historically, that's what it has been. So that's why these guys can never settle down and be satisfied with one woman. They got to go out there and they got to keep throwing it around, because they're still that little boy looking for that Playboy magazine that they hid in the bushes or, down by the creek. And so that's the thing. See, Steve doesn't like this conversation because it hits close to home, because he's still a little boy. Look at him. Look at him.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I think you go through stages in life where you're that way, and then as you're raising your kids and you're doing, being, the father and stuff, and then I think as they start leaving the house, you kind of start.
You kind of go back into it. You get that what they call a midlife crisis, right? I've already had 3 or 4 of those.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, whatever. But I think I had my first one at 25. What is it? John Mayer calls it in his song, a quarter life crisis. Yeah, I think maybe I had one of those when I was about 26 years old. But and now I'm 46 years old, and you feel your age, and things don't work the same way they used to work, and you get you know, problems in your joints, and just stuff starts falling apart. That second law of thermodynamics, entropy, you know, things in motion tend to fall apart, and that's what happens. So you're not like you're a 21-year-old guy walking around with an erection all the time, you know, barking at everything that moves. And you know, like Steve, he'd hump a watermelon if it wouldn't roll down the hill. But, you know, that's the deal.
Get Roman.com.
Get Roman.com. Why aren't we doing an ad read on this one, Candice? Get Roman.com.
I'll read it. So I wonder why, I bet that's why that we were talking about the dad bod earlier. I think that the reason that that is attractive is because from the female perspective, this guy perhaps is okay settling down, not quitting life, not stopping, but they're not necessarily out there trying to hook up with the girl that's got shorts on that look like underwear and the T-shirt that's over it. So it looks like they have no shorts on.
Okay, so let's use
I'm not sure what that trend is.
Let's use the guy that's middle-aged, 45, 46 years old. Let's use my guy as the example again, my age. He wouldn't know what to do with it if she said, bring it on. This 21-year-old girl comes to him and she's all bing, bang, doom, and she got her bloomers on. He'd be like, he wouldn't know. I mean, he'd want to. He would know theoretically what to do. but he would be like,
he would remember.
Oh, honey, you know what? I'm feeling kind of tired. I think I'm on. You can head on out now. I'm on. But it's true.
Well, I've tried to tell Brandon, you know, when I see him looking at a couple of girls that are just wearing T-shirts and their Vans or whatever, and it looks like that's all they're wearing, and I'm like, remember, everybody else is looking at those girls too. So, you know, be sure that you're picking a female that's yours, that not everybody else is trying to hook up with.
I can remember years and years and years ago, probably 20-something years ago, maybe not quite, but about 20 years ago at least, my brother, we were riding down the street, and these girls were walking down the street, and my brother goes, who's 10 years older than me, he said, girls are just different. They look different these days. And I said, no, they're packaging them different these days. It's a big difference. Women have always been built the same way. I mean, the feminine body is what it is. And, you know, we have the dad bods now because we don't work physically as they did in prior generations.
Yeah.
You know, used to be, you know, my grandparents, my grandfathers, they got up in the morning, they ate biscuits and gravy and pork chops and eggs, and they were skinny as a rail because they call that you got to eat something that's going to stick to your ribs.
Right.
Because those guys were going to eat. They were going to work all day out in the sun. Out there. I mean, now we live a sedentary life. We have to get up and go pay money to do things.
And they probably
active.
had worms.
They had a tapeworm.
What is wrong with you? But it's true. Mark, you're a young man. Am I hitting anywhere close to home on things here? I mean, does that at least absorb right into your brain a little bit? I mean, is it pass the smell test a little bit?
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you okay with your dad bod at this young age?
I don't know if I'm prepared for this question. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, get to a place. My weight's always gone up, down, up, down, up, down.
But you always have a pretty face.
I gain and lose the same 15 pounds over and over again. You know, I'm working out again. I'm back in the gym, and after having the arm surgery last year, it gave me a reason to be lazy.
Yeah.
And it scared me, honestly, because, you know, I can feel the pain of where they drill through my bone to tie that tendon back in.
How was that lifting this morning?
Oh, it's fine.
It was okay. Well, but you weren't lifting this way.
Yeah, and doing heavy stuff, I still, it's painful, but it's getting better.
Good.
It's getting better. And, you know, I have the arthritis and the gout in my ankles, and that's from playing ball all those years, and, you know, an unhealthy lifestyle of things you eat and consume and drink. And, you know, you live like kings, you get the ailment of kings. So, but again, I'm at an age right now, like, I'm not walking around. Like, anybody that's human can admire pretty things. You can admire an attractive human being. You can watch a movie and you can be like, oh, that Mark Wahlberg, he's nice. He's nice. But that doesn't mean you're objectifying them. And that's the issue that I'm getting at is so, like, you have Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, who identifies as a woman, and they name him Woman of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, ESPN that did that? Name him Woman of the Year. Now, see, that to me is the ultimate insult to women.
I agree.
I mean, are you telling me that there's not a woman, a genetic woman
There is.
on the planet who wasn't more deserving of that than a man who's pretending to be a woman because he says he's a woman on the inside? Now, I don't care how...
But that's why they gave it to him, because he had all the courage to come out and say that. Like, what did he
but
actually
he's still
do?
not a woman. And I understand what everybody in their esoteric worlds out here is saying. Oh, but he is a woman because he feels like a woman. Well, what if I feel like a black man? I'm not a black man.
Well, they're not going to let you take any awards.
I need to get the NAACP award for something. I don't even know if I don't know what they do. The Arthur Ashe. What do they give out, Candice? You're a person of color.
Yes, we're going to just toss all these POC questions to me from now on.
It's
and
a
I will
podcast, not a pod. POC-cast. POC, People of Color Cast.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. I am so thrilled and honored.
You're welcome. Hey, you know what? You get yourself a penis. We'll give you a Dude of the Year award. I mean, that's the same
That's where you
logic.
lost me.
No.
Done.
She's out. Candace just checked out.
Candace said, no more hot mic over here, baby. I know, but that's the ultimate insult to me. To a woman, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
To say, okay, here's a guy who says he feels like a woman, and he's going to come out and he's going to dress like a woman, and we're going to give him the Woman of the Year. Now, look, save your hate mail. Just be logical for a minute. Just be logical and really think this thing through. You know, that's where we've gotten so up in our brains. We've gotten so ethereal-minded. We're no earthly good at this point because we just aren't thinking logically. There's XX chromosomes and there's XY.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I mean, now, yes,
Well,
there
there's
might be a few that are out there on a very small scale that have some kind of jumbled up mix and whatever. That is so rare. That is so rare. We're not talking about that.
And that's okay.
And it is okay, but we're not talking about that
Right.
when you talk about a Caitlyn Jenner. That's the thing. And I don't care if you're transgender, more power to you. God bless you. You go be you. I don't care. You go be you. But don't go out there and start demanding to compete with someone that genetically is not the same gender.
That's what I was...
Or
yeah.
get awards that really somebody with that same gender deserves. I mean, that to me is ultimate hypocrisy, and it's an insult, and it is the ultimate form of the objectification of that other sex.
Well, and I've read multiple stories, athletic stories, where these girls, you know, they're trying to get scholarships and do all of these different things, but they miss out on the spots because 2 or 3 guys are taking their spot.
Yeah, because you got Derek, who's now Drusilla, who can deadlift 460 pounds.
Yeah.
And, you know, and there's, you know, Susie, who's still humping up 220. I mean, there's no competition. Are you going to let your daughter crawl on a wrestling mat or get in a jiu-jitsu match or something like that with this guy that used to play linebacker for Mississippi State, and now he's, you know, now he wears a dress?
But I surely this has happened.
You're going to get murdered.
I want to read the story about the transgender female that's now competing with the males. I mean, has that occurred yet? They demand to compete with males?
Not real high in demand.
Yeah, because I haven't read that
NFL,
story.
Was it a kicker?
Yeah.
That one that she was trying out at least or something. How is that going?
I don't know, but look, more power to you. If you want to do that, if you're a female and you want to try out for an NFL team and you want to play whatever position, go try out. But God bless you.
Standards should be the same.
I mean, God bless you. Go try it. But no, you're exactly right. You have the guys that are transitioning into women and they're going out and competing. You don't have a lot of girls transitioning into men and then they're going to go out. Like what prison they're going to go to? Wait, you're going to tell me that you got a biological female that identifies as a male who commits a crime. You're going to send them to an all-male prison, and she's got a vagina. Now you can identify all you want.
Well,
but Cell Block C gonna get rowdy tonight.
I know, and if she gets pregnant, then what?
Well, no,
if
she's
she doesn't,
a man now. She doesn't have to worry about that.
Well, I know, but sometimes things biologically happen, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah.
I remember when I got pregnant, it biologically happened. I just didn't believe it. I was like, oh my God.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just, you know, be attracted to who you want to be attracted to. I don't care. I don't care. I mean, you're not my child. if my child comes to me and says, this is the issue I'm dealing with, well, we're going to go in depth and we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to love them regardless of what they decide to do with their life or their, whatever they do. All I'm saying is it's just gotten so ludicrous out here. So now we live in a culture where and I'm using me as a generic male, if a male looks out there and it says to a girl, you're pretty, well, you can't do that anymore.
I know. Because
you're objectifying them. But we're living in a culture that is doing the ultimate to objectify both of them.
Yep.
And calling it okay through things like this Caitlyn Jenner example. Can't do that. If you're pretty, I'm going to tell you you're pretty. I'm going to tell you you're pretty. And you've been around me a lot. I don't care who you are. I'll baby you, darling you, honey you, sugar you. Now, I do it tongue in cheek. I'm playing with you. I'm not being condescending. But how many times? And you know what? They get it. They understand. And if you don't like it, tough. I'm not insulting you. I'm complimenting you. I'm endearing myself to you and you to me. I'm not trying to get your pants. I don't want your pants. I don't need in your pants. I got enough stuff going on in my life. The last thing I need is somebody
You got enough going on in your pants.
I got enough happening. I got enough not happening in my pants that I'm like, I'm good without. In
nursing school, they told us not to use terms of endearment. And that's so hard when you have a patient that you've been with for 14 hours straight.
Oh, I know.
Not to
Especially
finally
in the
look
South.
at them. Yeah, especially here in the South. After a while, I was like, oh, I don't care. I'd be like, okay, honey, what else can I do for you? It just rolls off the tongue. I'm not going to be like, all right, patient 125. What? I mean.
So I do the same thing with men. I just meet you. I call you brother. Brother, I'm always, hey, brother, what's up? Hey, buddy. I hug a dude's neck, total stranger. I just met you. Heard about you. We've talked to each other, whatever, over online or over the phone or whatever. And then you come into this studio. We just had that with Pete the other day. He comes in and, we hugged each other, met each other, hugged each other. Look, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm not touching anybody inappropriately. But then you have this deal.
Well, that's your opinion.
Well, I mean,
nowadays, it's your opinion.
Now, look, I'm not Joe Biden and anybody. Like, I'm also not running for office. And Joe Biden, I don't know if you saw the video the other day where Joe Biden, this woman asked him a question. Well, he grabs her hands, and he's holding them like this, right in front of him. He's holding her close to him. And you could tell it's kind of an uncomfortable thing, and he's just talking right in her face, just right in her face while holding, and he just does it for a prolonged time. And the lady comes out later on and said it made her feel uncomfortable. Well, I wouldn't do that with a guy. Neither would Joe Biden. He's not going to grab a man's hands and hold him up here like this. That gets inappropriate. If Candace is over here and I walked into Candace, I'm not going to walk up to Candace and just hold her hands right here in front of me while I say, okay, I'm going to need you to give me a 3-minute clip from the last segment we did that we can put on social media. I mean, it's just, like I said, who needs all that stuff?
If you see a transgender female, do you tell her that she's beautiful?
I've seen some pretty ones.
Yeah, I mean, if she is.
Me and Kyle were Kyle Lovett. We were out in Denver, Colorado, and I thought it was a woman, and she came in. That was the littlest dude I've ever seen. I mean, just narrow, had a little butt like a 12-year-old boy, and just come running in there. And Kyle said, look at that girl. She's got a head on her like a house cat. And he did. He had a big old head on his little old tiny body, and he was prancing around there in his little dress or whatever. And I said, well, you got to hand it to him. He's fit, And I mean, he was just sassy.
Aww.
And just having a time. But no, I won't say that person was that attractive. But I mean, I've been out in Hollywood and seen some people, and I'm like,
in Vegas,
man.
They look pretty good in Vegas too.
Yeah. I mean, so we've had multiple events, for instance, in Vegas. You go out there, and you got all these quote unquote showgirls that come to these events, and they're all lined up, and every one of them's 6'2".
Yeah, they're not female.
And they're not females. And I can remember telling Trey Chapman, because Trey was like, my God, dude. Dang,
well,
man.
he likes those.
That was incredible, dude. You see them girls? Holy God. Where do you think they got all them tall women from? Man, they were hot, man.
Poor
I said,
Trey
they were
Chapman.
men. No, they weren't men. They were not men. I'm like, they're men. Straight up dudes, bro. There ain't no way there's a man in there.
That's him trying to convince himself.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay.
And then he's like, well, screw it. They look good anyway. I'm like, exactly.
Yeah, that's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More power to you. Knock yourself out. I mean, I don't want to wake up with you tomorrow morning.
Well, have you done it? You don't know.
I mean, I've got a feeling I'm not going to like it.
You're not going to like the way you feel.
No. But did you see this thing the other day? Was it Vox? Where the girl, was it Vox? Or was it Vice? It was Vice. Where the African-American girl, she was talking about the overuse of the word guys.
Vox.
It was Vox.
Yeah.
And how you got to stop generalizing everyone by, if you speak to, and so she was, like, for instance, she went back in history talking about the late Guy Fawkes, who, that's where if you were referring to, it was based on, you were a Guy Fawkes if you, God, what was the example she used in the whole thing? But anyway.
It was basically like a term, like it generated from Guy Fawkes, who tried blowing up Parliament, and then it turned into sort of like a grouping of males, and then, and
so you just referred to them as guys.
Right.
Yes.
I do that on YouTube all the time when I go into the, hey guys.
I know you do.
When we're on the live chat. I'm not going to change.
But if you're sitting there in a conference room and you've got a dozen people that work for you and you're leading a meeting and you've got 6 women and 6 men, you go, okay, guys, here's what we're going to do.
Right.
You got to stop doing that.
But women say that too.
Well, I know. I mean, guy. If you're going to go all the way back to Guy Fawkes, who lived in what, the 1700s, 1600s, 1600s, and that's your excuse is, because Guy Fawkes was a douche, and so now they're using the word guys, and you can't refer to women as guys. I mean, you're getting kind of crazy. People watching this and listening to this don't even know who Guy Fawkes was.
No, I don't. And I'm listening.
And if you said guys and gals, then they would have a problem with gals.
Yeah, how dare you call me a gal? I'm not your gal.
Yeah.
Well, I always do that as kind of in a tongue-in-cheek manner. I'll have anybody walk up to me, some lady will say something, and I'll say, yes, ma'am.
Oh,
But I do that all the time on a text message. You ask me a question. Hey, you want me to be there at 8 a.m.? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, it's just a
'Cause I'm your elder.
colloquialism. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just a colloquialism, and people are like, "Well, don't call me ma'am." Okay.
And here we and then we've got we're teaching the young ones yes ma'am and yes sir, and now we're saying you can't say that when you're older.
Well, in these days, by and large, kids aren't saying that, and hey, again, to each their own. Culture is changing. I still appreciate the yes sirs and the yes ma'am. Colonel West, Alan West comes in here and sits down in that chair. I yes sir him. I didn't serve in the Army, but I respect who he is. I respect what he's accomplished. I respect what he did, and the man he is. So, but that's a different kind of form. But yeah, I'll yes sir, yes ma'am. Somebody's like, hey, you want a menu? Yes ma'am. I have to catch myself because we travel all over the country.
Yeah.
I've held doors open for people in California and L.A., and they're like, oh. And I'm like, well, just let it drop on them.
They think you're going to grab their wallet or something.
Yeah, man up.
Just stop.
You don't have to mark out that word, Candace, do you?
What word? Oh.
Now it's getting out of hand.
Don't do the long beat. Like, people really get confused with the long beat. Just go,
what did they beep out?
Candace, you do your job how you're supposed to.
Party time,
Thank you,
Mom.
Jade.
Stay horned. Hey, don't objectify anybody, but stay horned. But come on, guys. I mean, the
say
stuff.
that.
Like, I kind of, Candace, and I'm talking to you too, Candace, on this one, because you're pretty adept in terms of what's going on culturally and around the world. I don't think that the majority of people really are thinking that way.
No.
I just think like Vox puts a video out and they're like, okay, well, here's a crazy idea. And then the right goes nuts going, oh, everybody on the left thinks you can't use the word guys anymore. No, it's just a minority of people
Right.
who think that way.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Anything to draw attention to what they're doing. Or...
Well, and what I do is I always try to encourage the right, because that's who's watching this by and large. I encourage them, like, don't jump to these conclusions. Like, for instance, we shared an article the other day on my Political Cowboy page from Tribunist.com about how Post Malone, he jokingly, he put Ozzy Osbourne on one of his records, on one of his latest songs, and he said, this Ozzy Osbourne guy's really going to be something. Well, I mean, obviously,
He's kidding.
he's kidding. And then there were people who got on there, and they on Twitter, and they were kidding too, going, well, who is this Ozzy Osbourne guy? Thank God for Post Malone giving this unknown guy a chance. They were joking. Well, so we wrote this article, and it's kind of a parody article. Well, people are losing their minds going, well, who the hell is Post Malone? Who the heck is he? Screw Post Malone. Screw these idiots. This generation is dead. Oh, my God, I want off this planet. I wish Jesus would return and take me away because they insulted the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, I need Jesus to save me. How dare they insult Black Sabbath? That's the kind of stuff that's out there. And I'm like, look, guys.
I think it's just people, they know that. They're having fun.
You would think.
Yeah, I think people run with it a little too.
But they get so
seriously sometimes.
Like, is Ozzy Osbourne really that big of a deal in your life? You can't just joke around about it a little bit. You know, I mean, you can't even understand what Ozzy's saying.
You sound just like him. And then he eats a puppy.
And he's not. Is he one of those that doesn't do drugs, or is
He did.
He did.
I'm sure
okay.
he has
He
done
did.
some form
I'm thinking of
drug.
somebody else that like never did drugs or alcohol. That was
he
Kiss
did.
guy, right?
And, you know, the Motley Crue documentary thing that they just did, I read that book, right? The Motley Crue book. And the book was great. And that's a true story about how Nikki Sixx, Ozzy peed on the by the pool and got down and licked it up. And so Nikki Sixx jumped down there and licked up his pee too. And then Ozzy grabbed a straw out of somebody's drink and started snorting a line of ants. And like these people are nuts, right? I mean, they've been doing some crazy stuff in their life. But yeah, now you see what you get out of that. But I digress. But anyway, people are getting too worked up over stuff they read online. Just chill a little bit. Like, just because somebody on Vice or Vox says something dumb, or BuzzFeed, doesn't mean the entire world's thinking that way.
Right.
Doesn't mean the entire world's. So when it comes to gender relations, when it comes to relationships themselves, just chill, everybody. Be attracted to who you're attracted to. You run on with it. You do the thing. Your conscience is your God. You know, if you believe in God, let your God be your God. That's on you. That's on you. I'm not here trying to convert anybody. I'll always tell you what I believe, but I'm not going to condemn you or judge you or anything else for what you do. And that's just it. But stop condemning it. Stop judging everybody that might think a little bit different from you.
So you don't think you judge?
I really don't. I tend to think of myself. The only thing I judge is things that I think are just pure ignorance. Like, I just talk. Half the time I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just formulate it as the words come out. But that's kind of where my shtick. You know, it's always been, okay, I'm just going to pull over on the side of the road and start the camera in my truck, and boom, here's what's coming out of my face.
You still do truck videos?
Is Willie still around?
What happened to Willie?
Where is Willie?
Yeah, where's Willie? Willie. Anyway.
You still live with Jade?
Yeah.
Jade who?
Who is Jade?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think of myself in general on the street level, the least judgmental person that's out there. But I will judge stupidity that affects other people.
Oh, I do hate stupidity.
I mean, the lack of logic, you know, like Pete Buttigieg, who comes out the other day trying to use the Bible, and he just obliterates Genesis 2-7 by trying to use it to justify abortion because he says, well, it's not a human life until it takes its first breath. That kind of stuff, I'll judge that because that's just ignorance. That's just dumb. So, and even if you believe that, trying to use the Bible to defend it in that way was just dumb.
Well, especially because the lungs are working inside.
Yeah.
It's just with fluid instead of air.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that kind of stuff I judge. I love you.
I love you too.
You're pretty. I don't care how fat you get. Okay? You eat up, chubby.
Well, then I'm going to quit, Levi Mimmer. I'm going to quit ITS and just get fat.
Nah, he won't let you do that. He likes the money, money, money. You know what happens, though, and I will give a big shout-out to Levi.
Yeah.
His wife, Erin Mimmer, sold us our house years ago. She's still doing real estate?
No, she's not.
She's not doing real
she's
estate.
doing something else,
She's
though.
got a lot of kids.
She's only got 3.
That's a lot. So anyway, Levi, he's got this thing over in
Crowley,
Texas, Burleson area, called Intensity Training Systems. I used to do it years ago.
Yeah.
It's just a group training thing, low impact, high intensity training you do with a group. And
all ages.
All sizes, all
sizes.
fitness levels.
Yep.
You start at a certain level and they work you up and you just get stronger and you just get better and they work with you at your pace and your level. They're just phenomenal people, and it's affordable, and you can go in there and you just join the group. You started doing that 8 or 9 months ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, because I quit a few years ago. I got on the road, and I just couldn't keep up with doing that, and But I'm back doing it because it keeps me accountable.
And you know, one thing that Levi does that's really awesome is he'll send out emails with just lots of positive things. And he'll say, I'm not done here. Don't get off of this email yet. I'm still saying something. I mean, he really captures your attention. And he said something the other day that I've been telling my patients. Basically, and somebody had said something to him about it, and he was reiterating it. You're on the road a lot. However, any kind of working out or eating right, any positive choice you make is better than no positive choice at all. And the way he said it was a lot better than that. But
well, like this morning, we went to Chick-fil-A and grabbed. You had a yogurt and I had a chicken biscuit.
Yeah.
And I said, well, hey, it ain't the best thing to go eat the Jesus chicken for breakfast if you're trying to eat healthy, but at least I did work out before it. Now,
absolutely.
Heretofore, I would have eaten a Jesus chicken.
I have to give you a little credit because the other day I went in your hotel room and you were working out with a big rubber band.
Yeah.
Or stretchy thing.
That's the technical term for it.
Yeah.
It was a rubber band.
Yeah, stretchy
You were
thing.
really getting after it.
Yeah. 46 years old, man. Got to keep boosting the testosterone.
It's either that or a 3-foot condom.
A 3-foot.
All right, Candice, Queen of the Ethiopians, Puppet Master Mark, Party Foul Steve, Lovely Jade, myself. Come see me. WatchChat.com has all the dates. Find them. Go to where podcasts are offered. Subscribe, download, listen, tell your friends about it. Let's take it to the top. Go to Apple Podcasts. Find us over there. And, of course, you can watch it on YouTube and share it with your friends. And I will say this as well. Rate us, review us. You can go if you're it's simple to do on a computer, but if you're on your mobile device, you can go to where podcasts are offered, scroll all the way to the bottom when it ends on the episodes, view down. You can rate it, leave a good review. We only accept 5-star ratings because we're worth it. We love y'all. God bless you from Studio 22. We're landing the mothership. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.